Your cat is settled against your leg, heavy and warm. You reach down without thinking, and there it is. That steady vibration humming up through your hand. The purr, the sound that has always meant one thing. Your cat is fine. Now imagine your cat had not eaten in 2 days. That exact purr, the one that just made your shoulders drop, could be the only tool your cat has left to manage a pain it cannot name and cannot show you. Have you ever assumed your cat was fine simply because it was purring? Most owners have, not because they are careless. Because that sound has never, not once, arrived during something bad, until it does. A cat arrives at the vet after days of hiding behind furniture, touching the food bowl and walking away, moving through the house in a way that was somehow wrong but too subtle to name. The owner sits down and says the same thing every time. But she was purring. I thought she was just tired. I thought she was comfortable. The purr convinced them. The same sound from every quiet Sunday morning, every afternoon on the couch, every night pressed against a shoulder on a slow evening, arrived during something completely different. And it read exactly the same. Your cat does not purr only when content. It purrs through pain, through fever, through fear, through injury, and in the final hours of its life, quietly, without a single visible sign that anything is wrong. The mechanism is biological. Your cat's body switches the purr on, not to celebrate, but to survive. It does not press a button to tell you something is wrong. It just runs the machine quietly from the inside, while everything on the outside looks exactly like a normal afternoon. Think of it this way. Your cat carries a built-in survival tool, one that costs the body almost nothing, runs silently, and was never designed to tell you what was happening. It was designed to help the cat endure it. That is exactly why it is so easy to miss. Think about the last time your cat purred alone in a quiet corner and you assumed it just wanted space. Hold that image, because what comes next will change the way you hear that sound for the rest of your life. So why does a cat in pain purr at all? Have you ever stopped to ask that question? Pain is loud. It announces itself, and purring has always lived on the opposite end of that scale. Quiet, warm, steady, the sound of something at rest. And yet, your cat's body is not working from your assumptions. In 2001, researcher Elizabeth von Muggenthaler measured the purring of dozens of wild and domestic cats and found every single one landing in the same frequency range doctors use to help broken bones heal and reduce pain in injured tissue. Think of it this way. The body does not switch the purr on to announce happiness. It switches it on the way a field medic reaches for the one tool that costs nothing and keeps working when everything else is gone. Have you ever seen a cat too tired to move, but still purring? A cat that is sick or injured cannot afford to pace, cannot afford to cry out. The body shifts into conservation mode, and the purr runs in the background the way a generator runs when the main power goes out. Not loud, not visible, just on. Picture this. Your cat has been quieter than usual for 2 days. It finds its spot on the corner of your bed, curls in tightly, and begins to purr the moment you sit beside it. You stroke its back once. It does not move away. It just keeps purring steady and low, and you feel the tension leave your own chest. But look at the body below that sound. Paws tucked under the chest, weight distributed carefully, muscles faintly braced, as if shifting position is a calculation, not a reflex. Do you see what is happening there? The body is already speaking. The purr just makes it harder to hear. The sound says one thing, the body says another. And the sound always wins, because it is the one we have been listening to our. The purr you heard was real. What your cat was feeling underneath it was also real. Both things existed at the same time, and one of them was invisible. There is a reason a cat in distress moves closer to you, not away. And it connects to something much deeper than most owners ever realize. Here is the part that is hardest to sit with. Your cat does not hide from you when it is suffering. Not always, not even most of the time. It finds you. Think about every cat you have ever known that was sick, recovering from surgery, moving through something difficult. Where did it go? Not behind a closed door, not to the coldest corner of the house. It went to where you were. It pressed itself against your leg and purred, and you felt relief. Because that combination has always meant one thing: safe. Your brain learned that equation early and never questioned it. But your cat learned something different across millions of years of survival. Cats are hardwired to suppress visible pain, not because they cannot feel it, because showing it meant exposure. A limping cat, a cat that cried out, a cat that broadcast its weakness to everything around it, that cat did not survive. So the species kept the ones who stayed still, who stayed quiet, who managed the experience from the inside while the outside stayed composed. That is the cat in your living room right now. Have you ever watched your cat purr through something you later found out was serious? The purr in those moments is not a performance. It is not your cat pretending to be fine. It is a mechanism running exactly as designed, managing what is happening inside while the outside stays composed. Your cat is not lying to you. It simply does not have a different language for what it is going through. The love is still there. The closeness is still real. What shifts is only this. You stop letting the sound be the only thing you listen to. Write purr in the comments if your cat has ever settled close to you and purred through S. Looking back might have been more than a quiet afternoon, because the final part of this video gives you exactly what to look for. In real time, not in hindsight, you now understand why the purr happens during pain and why it sounds identical whether your cat is at ease or quietly enduring something you cannot see. But knowing it without knowing what to look for changes nothing. So here is the shift. Small, 30 seconds, starting now. Think about the last time you felt that vibration and assumed everything was fine. You did not check the body. You did not check the posture. The sound filled the room and the question closed before it even formed. Most owners do that for the entire life of their cat. What changes today is only where your attention goes first. Have you ever actually looked at your cat's body while the purr was running? The body never stops communicating. The purr is one layer. The posture is another. The eating pattern is another. You have been reading one channel your entire life. There is a second one running alongside it every single day. Stop looking at the face first. A cat managing pain has usually already composed its face. What it cannot fully compose is the body. Look below the neck. Loose body, limbs uncurled, weight dropped fully into the surface. That is comfort. Tight body, paws tucked under the chest, muscles faintly braced. That is something else. Most people miss this. Did you? 2 actions. First, read the body, not just the sound. Second, if the purr arrives alongside 3 or more days of eating less, moving carefully, or resting in unusual spots, call your vet, not the purr alone, the pattern around it. Your cat has never stopped trying to communicate with you. It simply needed you to learn one more layer of the language. Tell me in the comments, has your cat ever purred through something that, looking back, might not have been contentment at all? Subscribe now, because every video on this channel gives you one more signal your cat has always been sending that most owners never learn to read.